welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack and I'm here today with...
Alex.
Yeah, Alex, man.
Hey, how you doing?
It's great, we're getting straight into the video. What have you brought us today?
I brought you a grandmother.
Oh, and you know I love an older woman. And also, Joss, hit me, we've got Joss in the back. Firstly, when we get to this, it comes with a slinky, which is just so exciting. And, should we listen to it? Should we turn around? No, exactly, let's do it. Let's high five and turn around.
Drink it in.
I'm drinking it in. And can you tell me about it?
Okay, so what is the grandmother? The grandmother is an analog synth from Moog, obviously, who are champions of the analog way. And I mean, if you look at this thing, I mean,
it's so desirable.
It just looks fun. It's a fun synth, and that literally was their aim, was to make something that was classic but approachable. Because I think, like, talking to the folks at Moog, they've done so many like trade shows, and you'll know, like, when you see, if you don't know synths and you see like a modular synth, it basically, the whole thing is it doesn't look like it's for you. People come up to that and say, am I allowed to touch this? And it's like, yes, of course you are. You're supposed to be playing with this thing. And the grandmother is the answer to that. It's a synth that it looks friendly, because it is, but actually what's inside it is some of the most geekily interesting stuff as well, because it's actually the circuits from their modular synths. So it's like the classics, like 904 filter, I'll get this wrong, like the 911, 911 from the envelope generator, the VC8, but also especially the mixer section uses the CP3 mixer, which those are circuits from their big modular synths, which are like tens of thousands of pounds. Yeah. But those contribute to their sound, and especially something like the CP3, it adds like this warm kind of drive. So when you're buying a grandmother, you're actually getting access to the circuits from the big expensive modulars. It's semi-modular, so you can patch it in with Eurorack and DFAMs and mothers and other stuff, and with itself. But right just as it is, it's this immediately accessible kind of classic 70s, like baby. Ready to go. And best of all, spring reverb built in as well, which is really nuts.
And it's a real spring.
It's a real spring reverb.
Can we high five that?
Totally messed up your camera.
I'm so excited!
It is just, it's so beautiful.
It looks like it, and it feels, even this plastic and this hue to the colours, it's legit old school.
I love it how 70s it looks, and these like Jolly Rancher switches. Look how satisfying these things are.
Yeah, Tutti Fruttis.
Really, yeah, I suppose, yeah. I'm going US. For, like,
for the US.
For the US.
Moogers instead of
of
Moogers.
Course.
Shall we... Can you like walk me through it as a layman?
Yeah.
And
What you have, like, yeah, totally. So it's a 2 oscillator synth. So if I turn this down, so here's oscillator 1, and then you've got this mixer. And just to try and, like, we're on square wave here, I want you to try and see if I can actually kind of let you hear this. So you hear, I'll turn the spring reverb off, turn this down a little.
the mixer's driving.
It does drive. So like, it's a big thing actually when you're blending waveforms. There's lots of clean tones that you'll kind of blow past if you just turn everything up on full. So if you hear, it like burns. That's the CP3, and then obviously as you add more waveforms, even more so. Like the Moog low pass, 24 dB. But obviously you want to back off a little and find different tones. Super nice. And then you've got this envelope generator, so you can change how the note is shaped over time. You have a nice long release.
So clear, so
yeah.
visual.
And then they've got a sustain slider as well. So the sustain is like a volume control, effectively, because it's controlling how loud the note is. So that's like a slider.
And it like breaks up all the front panel.
Yeah.
It's another, almost like at a jungle gym. Oh, I want to go on that. Oh, sorry.
Totally. And then you've got these utilities, by the way, which are things like a multiple. We looked at this before, like the value of utilities. You've got a high pass filter and you've got an attenuator that's bidirectional. So you can use this to control how you send modulation to stuff. And in terms of modulation, you have this here, which here's the real major trick with the modulation.
Cool.
So the modulation is like an LFO. It's an LFO, right? So right from the get-go, without patching anything in, I can send an amount to cut off, and I just turn up the mod, just like on other mode. So now that, it goes very fast. In fact, it goes so fast.
Like audio rate stuff.
Not only is it audio rate, the modulation LFO is just the same as the oscillators behind the scenes. So this is not a 2 oscillator synth, it's a 3 oscillator synth. And the way that you get it to work is you take the keyboard out here from the sequencer and arpeggiator, which we'll get to in a sec. The keyboard out is just saying what pitch you're playing the keys at, right? So if I go keyboard out to rate in on the modulation oscillator, and then I go wave out to the noise in on the mixer, what that does is it replaces noise with that oscillator, and then if I turn it up...
You made a 3 oscillator?
So that's this. And I can change the waveform. And then if I tune it to the other oscillators, because it'll probably not be quite... And then third oscillator. Whoa! We've got sync.
Man, it's got some character in there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually modulating using the audio rate. I was modulating the filter at the same time. It's nuts. So like, that's amazing, because then it's a 3 VCO synth. It's kind of, you know, perhaps I like to think of it as, I've got a baby mini Moog here, basically. But the, it's the modular circuit, so that's the thing. I mean, the oscillators actually are, they're more based on the mini Moog, to be honest, but it's the other stuff, the mixer, the filter, the VCA, the envelope generator, and the modulation generator, and those, you're hearing that like vintageness, that kind of vintage character. So much of that is the mixer, I think. Like when you're driving those components internally, it adds that like warmth and low end.
You could see it wasn't, that last bit of the taper wasn't adding so much volume, but just, you know, all those saturation, all the things we're looking for in boxes to heat up our system.
Vibe.
Yeah, vibe. Wow. And the way that you could imagine that integrating with the stuff you showed me the other week was incredible.
Well, this is the other thing. So then we've got, as a final kind of piece, well, 2 pieces, because we've got the spring reverb, but you've got an arpeggiator and a sequencer. So it's an arpeggiator and a sequencer, and the way that we make it work, there's a little switch to say mode. Am I an arpeggiator, am I a sequencer, or am I in record mode? If I stick it on ARP, you hit play on the Tutti Frutti, and then...
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, I'm just like, keep it anglicised.
Yes.
We're in England, mate. So then it's an arpeggiator, and then you can go. And I've got hold on. And then we've got sync, which is like such an important thing. Sync basically is going to reset the wave shape of oscillator 2 against oscillator 1. And it creates these wonderful sort of tearing metallics. And then it's quite fun to like modulate that oscillator because it's having such a timbral effect. So I'll modulate it. Ooh. There's kind of too much modulation happening there, so I might want to run it through the attenuator just to temper what I'm doing. So if I go like this. Oh no. And then spring reverb.
It sounded so good, I'm actually going to turn up the speakers a little bit, because I want to feel this.
Vibe. And then we've got different modes, you can go forward, backward. bass, but you've also got the sequencer, and the way the sequencer works is two things. So firstly, we have to kind of input some notes, and you can actually have sequences up to 256 steps, so super long sequences, and you can have slides and accents as well, and you can change how legato works too, so you can get very kind of 303. But basically with it in record mode, with this switch flipped into record, you kind of record your notes, and you can add rests, accents and ties with the Jolly Ranchers, and then you flip it into sequence, and then transpose. But the cool thing about the sequencer, which isn't immediately obvious, is you can actually like jam with it. So if I flip it back into record, I can actually overwrite notes. What I was doing there is moving up and down the keyboard. What? So you can kind of evolve the sequence in real time. It's really nice. And you can also change the direction and things like that. And then the 3-octave selector becomes a sequence selector. So here's one I made earlier.
So that it can hold 3 sequences?
Yeah. What's this one? That's a pretty boring sequence. There's literally nothing there. But
less is more.
Yeah. But yeah, dead fun. So, and that can be clocked as well. You can clock it to, you know, like a drum machine or another synth. It's got analog kind of clock inputs and outputs in the back, and you can actually change, you know, if you looked into the clock stuff, like we looked at it before, where you've got different timing standards and stuff. You can make this work with every timing standard from like, you know, 1 all the way up to like 48 ppqn. And then, yeah, spring reverb. Real, genuine, actual spring reverb tank. Just keep banging the thing, which is just...
Do you find that exciting?
Yeah, genuinely, because from playing around with the modular stuff, 90% of what makes it so magical is just having a tiny little bit of spring reverb, especially if you've got sequences going on. There's something wonderfully radiophonic workshop about just a melody, like melodies, bonky, weird synth melodies plus spring reverb, which I'm sure...
When he says melodies, it's in, I've got to plug it as well, Mylar Melodies.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to go check out your channel. I'm learning a lot, and also it's great to have you here, thanks man. And how, it's exciting, I'm excited to see what you think. That spring reverb, because you've had experience at modular, how does it rate as well?
It sounds amazing.
I mean, it sounds amazing to me, but I don't know about what other modules are available.
I mean, I'm not sure, to be honest with you, I don't know the tank that's inside this, but I know that talking to Moog about, I picked their brains.
It's in a bloody keyboard.
And it's like, in a keyboard, which is not a common thing. Not a common thing.
That's not happened in our lifetime.
Yes, but not in keyboards. I mean, no. I don't know anyone else who really
you know what I mean? Like,
people have put like
so fresh.
reverbs, but and it's such a modular thing. But the talking to them, what was the circuit? It was the because I didn't know it. The 905 is the, which was a module I'd never played around with in the original modulars, at least the ones that came out recently. But they said that they did more to the circuit to add more vibe. I don't know what that means. Yeah. There was a twinkle. I was talking to Trent Thompson, who's like a product manager and oversaw, you know, amongst other folks there, oversaw it. He was like, yeah, we did some magic on the spring reverb. And you can kind of hear it's got this like woolly sort of velvet sound. It's really...
But the expanse.
Yeah,
it's not like,
really
you know, small like a combo amp. It's blowing it out.
Well, also, and I have to say, like, I've never been that satisfied with any digital like spring reverb.
You came in last time with the H9.
Yeah.
Didn't you? And
well, that's amazing. That's very different. That's an algorithmic
so different. But this
monster.
has got like some soup in there.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. It's like,
can we just max it out? And see
go for it. You can also do stuff like, and I've not...
like feed, can you overload it? Yeah.
So this is another thing which is, You can actually tap the spring reverb separately in this. So where is it around the back? So you've got various Euroracky things, but I mean, we'll have to tell people it says reverb out, and it's got a Eurorack out. So it has got a Eurorack strength, because I think we've talked about that before as well, that line level stuff is quieter than Eurorack. Eurorack stuff is super loud. There is, obviously it's line level out of the main out, but there is literally a Eurorack out. So you can very easily integrate. But there's a reverb out and there's a reverb in. So if you were using the Grandmother as a synth, you can separately use it as a spring reverb tank. So it's just like, it's its own baby. And I mean,
I want to play guitar through it.
Oh, mate, you can do that as well because it has instrument input. So if I just do attenuate, I mean, there are some patches in the manual. I think some that involve feedback.
Unless they're your patches, I don't care, mate.
Mate, that's very sweet of you, but
no, come on. And I love how thoughtful, even the font of your notes is thoughtful.
Oh, like the old school? I did it in Notepad, you know.
Oh, nice.
No, I actually hand typed it, yeah. I hand wrote them.
Ooh. I mean, Christian Henson just got a hard on. This is like Spitfire's whole business plan. Sorry, no, I love him. He's like my hero. Christian, you need to get one of these.
Yeah, man, he's getting into the modular thing as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but what's
sneaky bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, this is running the feedback or the reverb back into the noise input, so creating a feedback loop.
And
see if you can
the drone thing.
So yeah, the drone.
Well, can we drone?
Yeah, of course. So like,
I'm into drones.
What the drone does is just it sort of takes the keyboard out so that it'll just make sound without you needing to hold a key down. So now it's just like so. Obviously,
great.
You have to do that. Now you don't have to do that.
Just very quickly, you can get in it,
and then you can just start like adding in sounds. And you should maybe get the modulation oscillator going as well. In fact, actually, you can. Should we noise out? No, we could do like. Let's just replace this. Interestingly, if you hold Shift, you can actually get a fine tune on the rate control.
What? So like a different resolution with that. Yeah, that's very cool.
There's some kind of layer of digital control over that. I'm not sure how it's done, but obviously the heart of the machine is analog, so.
Yeah, should we just fade that in over that drone to see what the spring reverb does?
Do it. So it's obviously changing the oscillators too. You could possibly make them drone if you pulled this up. Like maybe if you just dummy patch them. Maybe not. Maybe they're always connected. It's kind of thing I should check before we do videos.
This is incredible.
But yeah.
I love it. I'm living live YouTube right now. I'm watching videos all the time. It's so meta, man.
Oh my god.
Woo!
Yeah, it's nice. What if you might be able to make the, I mean, this is me literally just trying things out, just live, which may not sound very good, but if you...
I think it sounds great.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
If I go... Can I make this?
Oh, it's like
See
James.
if I can make this.
So James Blake kicking off as well. That's.
Basically triggering the envelope at audio rates. It's better to use the modulation oscillator for that, I think. Whoa. It's the noise. And then you've got sample and hold actually, which is what I was using at the very start. There's a nice thing if you go, yeah, like sample and hold to maybe.
Oh.
Classic.
The depth in that.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it? But it's just the vibe. Just everything with vibe, like.
Isn't it just a little bit of because you've been out. Have you been out to North Carolina to see it? What was the? How did it come about? It's
The grandmother.
Yeah. Did it come out of nowhere or did it?
No, I mean obviously.
Were they making kits of it? I can remember.
No, well they've made things like the Workstat and stuff, which are like little like baby synths.
Yeah, these colours. Like
and then you've got like the but they've never made anything quite as colourful as this.
Incredible. And it's like, was it called a Rogue or
the Rogue?
The
Rogue.
Rogue.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the.
Exactly. These are actually mini Moog wheels. Although just one sort of point is there is a spring return on the pitch on the thing, which is not present on the mini Moog. But
and cripples me on a mini Moog because I can't play licks. Yeah, I'm like,
you've got to learn to
that's
like.
all I got, man.
But the so it is like the Rogue. It's like the Rogue Prodigy. Those kind of like early '80s Moogs, basically. It kind of looks.
But then
like
with this
plastic and stuff.
modular heritage based with the bits,
Totally, yeah.
It's incredible.
It's the stuff you want to buy now, but looks like the stuff from back then, and is way more reliable.
And we won't talk about I won't give an exact price, but I heard it, the word on the street, and it just seems an unbelievable deal.
Yeah.
Like when you think of the.
You're getting a full-size keyboard, getting like a complete synth, and it's semi-modular, and it's a sequencer, and it kick off your Eurorack thing if you're into that, or it will be
with the other Moog products.
It's just like so ready to be integrated because like especially if you look at those, like the 921 and stuff, like it's the same like patch points that are on the actual modules in like literally the same thing. So it's like you're getting a 904
for the same price.
For
less money.
Basically buying a 904. If someone sold you like an original 904 filter for less than this entire synth cost, you would bite their hand off. So it's it's a good deal.
What I would love to do is, because I'm a layman, we got a lovely chap. Ben, you back there?
Oh hey.
Ben's back there. Can I put you two together as two modular aficionados and just see what happens?
Yeah, can certainly try.
Okay.
I've really missed anything.
Oh mate, that's great.
Cool. So I've managed to usurp Jack. Alex
Jack.
brought along this great book. Is this the manual? Just literally the manual.
It is the manual.
It's got some
nice
cool patches in
receipts.
there. So what are we going for? The
So,
steps
well,
drone.
I tried a few of these. Like step drone is quite cool, and so to patch that up, basically you go envelope out from the sample and hold out.
Yeah, sample and hold to the input of the utilities at the bottom.
Attenuator. So sample and hold is going to make randomness for us, and the attenuator is going to
Cut
control
off.
how much of that randomness we're sending, and we're going to send it into the multiple.
Mm-hmm.
So what that's going to do is take the randomness that is generated here and make copies of it. So whichever you plug into, you've now got 3 copies of that original input signal. And where do I need to send it?
Cut off input and the pitch of oscillator 2.
So I need to send it into the pitch of oscillator 2 and then into the cutoff.
Indeed.
I'm assuming it wants sync to be on.
Yeah.
Because it's asking us to change the pitch. Yeah,
gotcha.
that'll create like a timbral control. And then
a saw and a sort of wide pulse.
Saw and a wide pulse. Oh yeah.
16 and 4 feet.
Yeah.
Much over.
Do we have it on drone? Yes, we do.
Where was the drone bit? I didn't see.
So that's just here. So on VCA mode,
Oh, yeah.
you're controlling whether it's keyboard keyboard release. So what keyboard release is, by the way, is like on you know, on Mini Moog, where you hold the key and it just opens the VCA fully and closes it right away. It's a bit of a clever one. It does that, so it will just instantly open, but instead of instantly closing, it will respect the release value. So it means that you can use the envelope kind of to control the filter separately to the volume, basically, but you still get release, which is nice. But anyway, drone. So what's happening? So sample and hold here is controlling the timbral control of oscillator 2. It's changing the tone because we've got sync on. Does it say? Oh, we're supposed to be down a little bit here.
We could totally modulate that though. That'd be fun.
So you could go. Maybe you could go wave out from the first one to linear FM. Do we have both oscillators? Oh, he's picking them down. It's like a nice sort of self-playing thing.
All about the self-playing kind of generative stuff. That's loads of fun.
Are we supposed to have resonance all the way up as well?
No resonance,
all the way
actually.
down. All the way down. So it's all about, timbral.
Always the answer is more reverb.
Nuts. I'll get this up.
Send that in a bit.
Oh, nice, yeah. So it's now also, as well as sending sample and hold, it's going to send the descending saw to the.
Yeah, nice. Can you run us through some of the normal signal flow? Like, where does the high pass live in the signal flow and all that kind of stuff?
Well, in short, it doesn't. So, like, the utilities are totally independent. So you've got like the heart of the synth, which is basically oscillators go into the mixer, mixer goes into the filter, filter goes to the VCA, being controlled by the envelope generator. And you've always got the envelope generator available to control the filter and the VCA. And the only exception to that was what I was saying about this keyboard release thing. So let's see if I can just show you that a bit more clearly. So here, if I turn up the attack, we would expect to hear the keyboard slowly fade in, but we're not hearing that. And it's because what keyboard release is doing is just whenever the key is down, it's going to make the VCA, which is the element that controls how loud the synth is, it's just going to make it go fully open, fully closed, fully open, fully closed, which is present on like the Mini Moog, except if you up the release, you do actually get release. So it's just another way of allowing you to use then the envelope really to control. To control the filter, whilst the VCA is just being open for them, basically.
Quite a simple idea, but it's a lot of flexibility.
Just adds a little bit of extra control. Otherwise, it would just be open or closed, and your notes would just end immediately. Whereas now you get a nice release on them. One thing that I was, when we started playing with the sequencer, I didn't show Jack, but is a kind of modular thing that you need to be aware of, is there is accent in the sequencer.
Okay.
But the accent isn't routed by default, so that's another kind of normaling concern.
Is that just coming out of the keyboard velocity
it is,
out there?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
So like, let me see if I can get it to work. So if I go like, put it in record. So if I want accent to be in my sequence, I can actually do stuff like just tap in when I want the accent to appear.
Gotcha.
And see, you get accent. But to hear it, we'll need a slightly longer cable. We go keyboard velocity out to envelope out.
There we go, yeah.
That's more level.
There we go, got
So there's actually like a little envelope built into the accent that you don't have a control over, but is in there.
Well, it's kind of the sort of the expression that you'd expect from an accent anyway.
Yeah,
so it's
totally,
cool.
yeah. Then we can tie notes. And you can enter rests as well. And this is all, as long as you're in record mode, you can edit the sequence in that way.
It's sort of like a bit of a live overdubbing type.
Exactly,
thing.
yeah, it is. You can't sort of extend and contract the sequence while it's running. You would have to kind of pre-bake a sequence that was the right length, you know, but you could hit it and record and just go rest, 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 rest. Not sure how many rests that is, but now it will be creating a blank sequence. And if you put it in record mode, you would be able to start building up from a blank sequence.
That sounds so good.
Yeah.
There we go. About that certain untouchable fatness, and it is definitely here.
Super
I love
tone.
it.
Yeah. The pulse width is nice as well. Bit pulse width mod.
Actually, yeah, I was going to ask because I saw it's just got the sort of regular square and then pulse.
So
if it was like a fixed pulse, like on the mini mode, but you've got
exactly.
pulse
Yeah,
width.
it's basically giving you a range as far as I might have that wrong, but the thinner version allows you to squish the pulse out of existence.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is harder to do on the other one. Both of them respond to pulse width modulation. But this further shape lets you go thinner.
Yeah, you do the rhythmic thing if you want.
Yeah. So I could have it so that one is wider. Oh my god.
Do we have a tempo out on here anywhere?
There is a clock out, yeah.
Yeah, so you could like you could sync your LFO and do like rhythmic stuff with pulse width work.
Exactly,
Awesome.
Yeah, there is the rate input for the modulation oscillator. So if you've got like an LFO elsewhere, you can change it. But there is a sync input to reset as well. And you should be able to go gate out to sync in. So it'll reset with every key press, which is really important if you're using this sample and hold out.
Yeah.
So that you can have it, which what I was doing before, where every key press will create a new random value.
I saw when you had that plugged in, was there some kind of clock division-y type thing going on the rate, or is it just kind of a fixed?
No, I think it is just a
deal?
fixed thing, basically. It just resets the start point. So when you're using sample and hold, I just put it right to the bottom so that every time it creates a new key press, it's going to just create a new voltage for you. But yeah, I like that with the sequencer. I think I had this right, that you effectively can just move it onto random. And it's then using those same melodies that are in
that's
the memory,
really cool.
but remixing
Just
them.
flick it in for a little bit of variation, go back to your regular pattern. And how could you could flick between, was it 3 sequences?
Correct, yeah.
How can you navigate those?
So there's just literally a physical switch. It's and it's just got 3 positions. So we're on sequence 2 at the moment. But if I go to 1, I don't think there was anything in 1. But in 3, there should be something, he says. No, there isn't.
Just in the middle one.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, you can transpose as well. So like, sounds like Roixop.
Yeah. Oh man, so good. My last question is from the modulation oscillator. You've got sort of the control to send it to the pitch and pulse width. Is that all via the mod wheel? Is that how it works?
It's just like on a mini Moog where these won't work unless you have this up.
Gotcha.
So it's there to let you kind of pre-bake in, a bit of vibrato, a bit of modulation, and then you just turn the mod wheel to control how those go. Alternatively, you just use the actual out.
Awesome, yeah.
Send it direct into whatever you like.
I think that's it.
Good.
What
Sold.
else?
Power into it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
So, what's this?
This was in the back of the room, and it was 62 telly, right, Joss?
It's a guitar.
It's a guitar.
Right, okay.
Exactly.
Sorry, I was making a joke, but that's all right. Don't worry. So yeah, guitars, right?
And you've allowed me to plug it into your grandmother.
I'm going to let you plug it into my gran.
Bloody dirty old... She loves a 62, put up her...
Right. So, I feel this bears explanation, which is you've got an instrument input. When you plug an instrument in, it will accept like guitar level, and it will also, you can plug a iPhone into it as well if you've got the right adapter.
Oh yeah, she accepts anything.
She does, right? And it will get mixed into the mixer. There's no volume control, so you have to attenuate. We're using a pedal.
Lazy J Cruiser, made in Surrey.
Mate.
What?
But then you can run it through the filter and the spring reverb and mess it up. So.
Oh right.
Go on. Then we could modulate our filter. Why not?
So see what's happened?
What's just happened?
I broke a nail.
Oh, mate. Oh, bless you.
But it's a great excuse to get someone to actually play the bloody thing. Just come and play it.
I've got to go and have a go.
Come on, mate. You got to plug into the synthesizer. I'm not even going to mic him up. He's going to come in no mic.
Sweet.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Nicely done, mate.
Oh, there you go.
Great.
So, first time I plugged the guitar into a synth. It's pretty awesome.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the Andertons YouTube music technology channel. If you're a guitar player or you play bass or a drummer or you're into keyboards, you might like one of our other YouTube channels, and I'll put links to those in the description below. Anyway, if you'd like to find out more about the products we featured in this video, please click up here. If you'd like to watch another video from this channel, please click here. If you'd like to buy a t-shirt like the one I'm wearing, click down here. And lastly, if you'd like to subscribe to our Music Tech YouTube channel, please click down here. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.